Tired of being stuck on 76, 95, 476, 222? You get the picture. Anyway, jump on this train.
So Pete, yeah, we were off last week because I had to move. And so one of the things I liked about my old place was it was right next door. I lived right next door to a cop. It was nice, you know what I mean? So I knew nothing would really jump off on my block, really. Move, and then, so sure enough, I'm scrolling through my little news feed the other day. Attorney General Shapiro charges Chester police officer with theft. Apparently a Chester cop was selling an impounded vehicle. Got caught selling an impounded vehicle. So I used to read the name, I'm like, Robert Shaughnessy. I'm thinking to myself, you know, the cop next door to me, I mean, not to be stereotypical, but he would look like a Shaughnessy. Sure enough, it was him, yeah.
Wow. And you thought you were safe.
Right. I got a criminal cop next to me.
And you thought you were safe. I'm not even going to talk about it. Oh, that's crazy.
It's time for the D train.
Show of hands. Who's ridden the train before?
Darren DeVoue.
All right, all aboard.
Hello and good morning. Yes, welcome aboard the D Train with Darren DeVoue. The best way to start your week here on cmpradio.net, the voice of Chester. Joined behind the glass by the peculiar and peculiarly productive Uncle P, and his assistant engineer, Little Jordan. Happy birthday! Happy first trip around the sun to the little lady.
Disrespectful.
Oh man!
Last week, the week before last, you called me pleasantly. What you called me, pleasantly plump?
No.
What?
Portly.
Wow.
No. Anyway, wow. Good morning, folks. Oh goodness. So last Friday, I'm sitting there. I'm a little hungry. I'm about to order some food, and I'm thinking to myself, it's about that time for the Mad Greek. I jump online, about to call the number, and there's no answer. And then I look on Google Maps, and I see on Google Maps it says permanently closed. This pandemic has personally affected me now in a way that I can't describe because I contacted the owner of the Mad Greek, and we'll put that to the side for the moment. So I was trying to process it, that this might be a possibility that the Mad Greek is closed. And I decide, okay, I'm going to order some Jamaican food. Okay, call this place. Mind you, it's a Friday. It's supposed to be restaurants' second busiest day of the week. It's not even 7 o'clock. These people weren't answering the phone. Called another place, another small independent restaurant. Again, on a Friday. No answer before 7 o'clock. And that's when I started thinking, whoa, holy smokes, what this pandemic is doing to small businesses, like let alone where you see a Chipotle, they're having trouble staffing, so they're not even taking orders in person anymore. They're doing, you have to order from your car. I remember when, all the years I spent waiting tables or whatever, like a restaurant used to be a quick snap job you could get, but so many people have quit or walked away from the restaurant industry, and during the pandemic, you can see why, because a lot of times you're exposed now. My mask is down when I'm eating, up when I'm going to the bathroom, that kind of, but wow.
PUA. The PUA money.
Oh.
Right? PUA money gave people, a one-up, right?
Okay.
Then you got PPP money, right? People started businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And got their loans. So don't nobody have to work in the restaurants no more.
Yeah, and actually that was usually a transition. Like I need money right now, so I'm going to go into a restaurant and work, for a few months or what have you. But man, goodness gracious. Kind of hurts though. I like those those little small places. That was what I loved about the Mad Greek was, little small dining room, not a long order. So, oh man, I'm hurt. I'm butthurt, as the kids say.
The kids don't say that.
The kids don't say that? Oh, that's where I remember picking it up
I
from.
don't know what kids you be hanging around.
Oh, not many. You know me. I'm trying to keep it short.
This bull.
Oh.
So no Mad Greek.
No more Mad Greek. Yeah. And it hurts. And not just because they were sponsoring this show, so I'm losing sponsorship dollars, but yeah. But shout out to that place. Hopefully
They come back.
Yeah. That's always a possibility.
Rent gets high. Situations aren't panning out the way they're supposed to be. Everybody don't like falafel.
Oh, well, with that, that moves us on to, there was a recent event that took place locally over the past Friday and the Saturday.
Right.
Wipe out your warrants. Man, that just caught my attention right there, and I don't even have warrants, and the name caught my attention because I know all the times I've been pulled over by police and they're checking my information. They're like,
You took a picture of that?
they got my information. They're running it. Nothing, not even a. Then they come back to the car. Just go. Here's your stuff. Go. Let alone, and I'm nervous.
Take a picture of that?
What's that?
That.
No,
It's so fuzzy.
Yeah, I took it offline, and actually, once I realized it's an old one. Actually, I didn't realize because I saw the event that as CMP Radio was posting about the event yesterday. That's what got my curiosity started. So then I looked it up. Oh, look at that! It's clear now.
Yeah, because I have a copy.
You worked the magic.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I've never had warrants, but I know with something like this being offered by the Delaware County District Attorney, chance to clear out any warrants, all that stress that's hanging over here. And I'm sure like things have happened where you get like even bench warrant, like you're supposed to appear in court, bang, a kid's got to get picked up from school.
Right.
Nobody pick up the kid from school. You missed the court date because you don't want DHS on your doorstep. Right. And next thing you know, the stuff just starts piling up, and you're overwhelmed, and you don't do anything to that after that point. And that's
got a warrant for failure to appear.
Yeah.
So they were doing that. Shout out to the DA. The local magisterial judges. Judge Dawn Van was there. It was a good event, right? We talked to a couple different people. I think what they're trying to do with the city of Chester is understand that there haven't been a lot of things given to the city of Chester, right? Resources, right? Hope, right? Conversations, communication, all of these things are coming to fruition now through the DA's office. So shout out to the DA, Jack Stallsheimer, right? Matthew Krause, Tanner Rouse, Jason Harmon, all of the DAs that work in the district attorney's office for understanding that, listen, these are the things that we're not doing for the city of Chester. So let's go down there, let's talk to them, and let's open up our doors so they can understand, listen, we're only a bad guy if you break the law. Mm-hmm. If you're not really breaking the law and you just have some summary offenses or little things like that, like come down here. They even had probationary warrants. If you had a probationary warrant, it was sitting there saying, all right, we'll forgive the warrant, wipe the warrant out. You go in front of the judge, you come back in here and do your probation again, man. It was an awesome event, bro. Like I said, I don't even have warrants, and I was sitting there looking at it like, because that's a lot of stress off of people's head. Right. These times that are already stressful enough. Goodness gracious. Shout outs there. And I love these progressive attitudes that these DAs are taking on nowadays. Right. It's helpful. Actually helpful too. It's very helpful because you've never had this happen in a black community.
Right. Usually it's the punishment, punish.
And they had over 8,000 warrants. So 8,000 different throughout Delaware County, not just Chester. Right. So this was a Delaware County situation. Right, so if you were local and you were out there and you out there in Ridley and you got some warrants and it's not, a violent crime warrant or something like that, you could have got it forgiven.
And would they do this like every 6 months or every year or?
I guess they could do it every 6 months.
Okay.
Right, it wouldn't be a problem to do it twice a year, right? Wipe out your warrant, right? I think that's a good situation.
Yeah. Well, keep that in mind. And any listeners with warrants, and we'll hope there's not many of you. But
right.
If you got them, keep that in mind.
Yeah, I had a couple brothers come up to me at the football game. They was like, man, that was a good look, man.
Oh,
I was in there for 2-3 hours. I was nervous.
Right. Because you show up, you're like, oh, this is a setup, man. They ain't gonna let me out of here.
And I try to explain to people, man, like you have to have hope. Right? Hope is the beginning foundation for a lot of things. Hope and then belief that it can happen. So, I know I'm telling you words that aren't necessarily said in the black community, but we have to learn to say those words, right? I have hope and a belief that I'm going to go in here, I'm going to get my warrant wiped out, I'm going to walk back out of here. And he told me, he was like, man, I walked out, man. He was like, I was getting ready to call you. He was like, but I ain't want to call you. You feel me? Because I know you busy. He was like, man, but I appreciate that. I said, man, don't thank me, right? Jack Stallsheimer. Like I said, man, these guys in there, they always asking me, what can we do to help the city of Chester, right? How can we come across like we care, right? And I'm like, you have to care.
Yes.
So think about the things that we have not had in the city of Chester and then offer those things to the people, right? I'm trying to talk to the public defender's office as well. Come to the radio station. Talk to us. We've never had communication before.
Right.
It's just that simple. It's not hard. Right? I'm not asking you for blood. I'm not asking you to forgive everybody that's ever committed a crime.
Right.
But for the people that have small crimes and they've committed small transgressions, right? Come out, forgive that, man. Maybe they can get a summary offense. A lot of people were getting a lot of things knocked off right then and there. I had a lady that showed up and she didn't show up to court. Like you said, she had to take her kids to school. She had to get situations taken care of. She had a warrant for failure to appear. The judge threw the case out.
Nice.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, so, now guess what? She don't have to worry about going to court. She don't have to worry about anything anymore. But if she would not have come there, and let's say she got pulled over driving, she would have got locked up.
Oh, yeah.
And she would have had to wait for the court date and all that other stuff. So, it was a good situation Friday and Saturday. And I want to give a huge shout out and thanks to the DAs, to the magisterial judges, to the Court of Common Pleas judges, and to media, man, because they understand what we need.
Nice. Get that monkey off your back.
Yeah, man. Please. What's up, Mike Martin?
Good morning, Michael. That moves us on to, yesterday. Tough one for the Clippers yesterday. Oh, man. The Clippers lost their second in a row in a fiercely fought game, going down 14-0 to Chichester. Is Chichester excuse me, I'm a Philly expatriate, as you should know. Is Chichester their main rival?
You can say that.
Okay, because I'm like, it's right next door. It's got Chester in the name.
It's
like
the I-95 Bowl.
Okay.
Got a lot of cousins and brothers and family members that play on that football team.
Exactly.
Kids hang out with each other. They play on that football team.
There we go.
Right?
Okay.
So it was a lot of trash talking. You feel me, happening on the football field.
And that was one of the things I admired about such a fiercely fought game. And for the most part, it was sportsmanship all over.
Absolutely.
I was really.
These kids, they respect each other.
Yeah.
They do. Right. But when you on the football field, we're not friends.
Right.
Right.
We're in the white line.
Once that whistle goes off and the game's over, we're friends again.
Right.
And they showed that effort. I want to say, Chester continues to try hard, man, but we have to get over that hump. And out of our own way, right? It's really Chester versus everybody.
Yeah.
And if you come in with that mentality, right? It's Chester versus us, it's Chester versus the ref. We have to play a perfect game, right? To win close games like that. Man.
And well, it was a tight game, 0-0 throughout the first half, which reminded me of one of the best games I ever saw. Because now, there's too much focus on offense nowadays. Right. One of the best games I ever saw was the 1989 or 90 NFC title game. Right. 9-6 between the Giants and the 49ers. And what made that game awesome, it was so tense throughout. Like every first down felt like something, and that's how the first half was. But then to the end of that, but what was giving me a bad feeling was the average starting position between the two teams. Chichester was usually starting drives from their own 45 or so. Right. Chester was starting out drives from their own 35, 30. Right. And that came back to bite them early in the first half. Chichester started off from their own 45, and they got a big play from the Chester 35, got a long touchdown run, put them up 6-0. Went for two, didn't get it. But then you said it, P, right there, with their head Crute for the second week in a row. Last week against Coatesville on the Coatesville's game-winning drive, Chester picked up an unfortunate unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And then this week, running into the kicker as Chichester was attempting to go for a field goal to put themselves up 9-0 over Chester. Chester picked up a running into the kicker penalty, which allowed Chichester to continue to drive where they got the deciding score. And then they picked up the 2-point conversion on a toss sweep to the right side, which gave us the final score. But, the offense has been in a little funk for the past 2 games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
And
so it's back. I'm not a football coach. I say when you go through a funk like that, you got to get back to the beginning.
Right.
Right. And you have to run the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So now we understand we have to run the ball, whether that's the quarterback, the running backs, or little slide passes, right, across the middle.
Right.
Gain 3 or 4 or 5 yards per, then open up the big play. So we didn't have, our threat wide receiver, right? He wasn't able to play yesterday. I don't know why. But, he wasn't there, so I think that had a lot to do with it, right? He wasn't there, right? So,
And I see that the past 2 games, those teams have been, they took care of the ball against the feisty Chester defense. Right. And it's those turnovers that the Chester offense has been feasting on.
Right.
So, yeah. One thing I can admire, one thing Pete brought it up, one thing I love about watching this team, I love their head and their heart.
Yep.
And like they fight on, like being down like they were both games. Well, even those comeback games earlier in the season, I love watching them. But with that said, I'm curious to see the performance in the playoffs because now this is a battle-tested team. They got their scars on them, and we'll see how they move forward with it. That moves us on to the Eagles. Eagles at 2-4 taking on the 4-2 Raiders. Oh, that offense, speaking of offense, the offense for the Eagles has been a rough watch.
Like a high school offense.
Yes. Jalen Hurts is constantly throwing the short passing game, but when you watch the Eagles, it's more like the dwarf or midget passing game because the execution of it. And, it seems easy to solve if you're a defender. And you would think that they're throwing these short passes to bring the defense up to set up something over the top, but that's not been coming through lately. They've been getting cover. They've been getting cover on the spread though. Past couple weeks, I took them on the money line against Carolina, and they won there. And then they got the backdoor cover against the Bucks last week. But the Raiders that they're taking on, they had their breath of fresh air game after getting rid of this guy here, John Gruden. Who, those emails. How about those emails? Former coach John Gruden, pictured here thinking about the possibility of ever having a black son-in-law. He took a 10-year contract and messed that all up.
I get you, the sweetest deal, and you shit all down it. You just shit all down.
The funny thing, though, is that they're not mentioning about those emails is the response. Like, I find it very hard to believe that these racist emails, racist, homophobic, transphobic, et cetera, emails that John Gruden got fired over, I find it very hard to believe that nobody responded and that the email just sat there. Like, you got that and like, ooh, and left it there like no response, no LLL, like no for sure, brother, or something.
There was responses.
Oh, yeah. Then they have, I haven't been hearing any.
Because no one's asking that question.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Who was he sending these emails to? What was their response? Because then you understand why he continued to send out these emails to everybody. Right? Because people were responding back and laughing and joking. And, like, very seldom do you ever find one racist. Right?
And that's the thing. They're treating it like, oh, just the old, companies kill me with that when they do that. Oh, just the old one rogue employee. Nothing to see here, folks. Moving along.
No, there are friends. There are people that are responding back to him. There are people that are laughing at his jokes, right? Because he feels like they're funny. Yeah, and I've been wanting him to go. I didn't want him to come back into coaching. Right. You know, I never really liked him.
I was hoping for him to fail. I was, and this is even better because when he got that 10-year, $100 million contract, I was outraged. And then here he is. He screwed it all up on his own.
He screwed the pooch, but that's what Chucky does. You feel me? Like literally, that's literally what Chucky does, man. So you really can't look. See?
Right. The similarity. A dead ringer for him.
I'm going to grab this razor and just go ahead and, but he felt like he had, control. And he could say what he wanted to say, when he wanted to say it, how he wanted to say it. I think he called DeMaurice Smith, the head of the the
Head of
union,
the union, yeah, players
for the
union.
players union, right? He called Goodyear tire lips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And I'm like, come on, man. At least be funny with it. Like, that's not even because there are white dudes with big lips. At first, and that was the thing, too. When I first heard the DeMaurice Smith comment, and I thought about, well, you know, Pete Davidson of Saturday Night Live, he's white, and Dave Chappelle, who's black, was making fun of his lips. So, never mind. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt for a hot second.
No benefit.
Oh, but you know what? I think the Eagles are going to win today in spite of themselves because, you know, teams, when they get that new coach, there's always that breath of fresh air game.
And they bust the Broncos' ass last week.
Yeah, and the Broncos competition hasn't been that up to snuff to them. Yeah. They've got the Jets on their body count and teams like that. So I think the Eagles might pull this one out in spite of themselves. I'm even going to put my money where my mouth is, $5. So a couple of dollars. I wouldn't call it money. Meanwhile, I think that the Union, moving this on, the Union remained tied for second place in the Eastern Conference in MLS after winning at Nashville yesterday, thanks to Casper Protocol first half penalty shot. That's his 10th goal of the season. They start the play. If the playoffs started today, the Philadelphia/Chester Union would be playing against Montreal. The playoffs start or the regular season ends, or the playoffs start November 7th. So keep an eye on the Union there. And that moves us on to Alec Baldwin. Let's go to the entertainment side of things.
Where did you get these pictures from, man? Because they're grainy. These pictures, they all grainy.
He looking. Oh shoot!
It's okay. We're already in it. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Alec Baldwin, if you haven't heard, man, he killed somebody. He killed one person and killed the cinematographer. Her name was Helena Hutchison. And he wounded the director, Joel Souza, on the set of the movie Rust that they were filming. Daggone. So, I know, I'm sorry, but I know if I'm a production assistant or one of those hourly employees on the set, I'm looking at Alec Baldwin. Real nice. You took out, you didn't halt the production. No, nobody's getting a check anymore about Baldwin. Good job there.
That wasn't his fault.
Right. And that's the thing they're saying, and this, we get this from Variety. They're saying there was a live round was accidentally inserted.
There's no way that happened.
Accidentally, like accident implies there's no one to blame.
Right.
So goodness gracious.
You have to blame the person that was in charge of the props.
Thank you.
Right? How you hand me a gun that had a live bullet?
A live round in it. In what universe is a lot? Why is this even on the property right now?
There is no. They thought it was a cold gun. They thought no. Like it's either cold or it's not.
Right.
And it was definitely not a cold gun. It was hot. He killed somebody. He took somebody's life, man. And that's a hard pill for him to swallow.
How about that?
He I can't say he's an alcoholic, but he likes to.
He likes to throw him back.
He likes to throw him back. So guess what he's gonna do? Guess what he's gonna do, right?
Guess what he's doing right now, bro.
Right now, right? So that's bad, man.
Yes,
that's terrible.
And I even feel bad because you've heard of this before. Bruce Lee's son?
Right.
I know the guy that got him killed. I know he's probably like, oh great, now everybody's going to be bringing this up again.
Everybody should bring it up.
Right.
How are you getting live ammunition in these guns?
I went to a set. Years ago when I was a kid, there was a guy and he was coming up. His name was John Eric Hexum. And that was the first time I had heard about somebody getting killed by a prop gun on the set because they said he put the gun to his head just fooling around, pulled the trigger, and next thing you know, he was in a coma that he never came back from. So, gotta watch. If you're in charge, there's probably going to be some new rules now for if you're in charge of props. Yeah.
I mean, there's no way for a movie is a movie.
Right.
So you have props in every movie, and it's supposed to look as realistic as possible. You can get a regular cap gun and put the sound effects on it to make it. It doesn't have to be a real gun with real bullets.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. That's a shame.
Yeah, he's never gonna get over that.
Oh man, oh yeah, that's a tough comeback right
And
there.
if he is over it, then maybe he wanted to kill him.
Right.
It's all about how you get over things, bro.
Oh, that moves us on to Yeezy. You hear about Yeezy?
I heard about them new Yeezys, them oats, them oatmeals. Them drinks look good, bro.
Oh, the sneakers?
Yeah, the sneakers.
Oh,
I don't pay Kanye no mind. Bro.
okay.
I mean, he's one of those people in my book of, here's my name, I just read over it.
Right.
Because he's liable to say anything.
And that's the thing. He just, a judge in Los Angeles, a Los Angeles judge approved his name change on this past Monday. And it was confirmed to CBS News that the 44-year-old rapper legally changed his name to Ye, which is his longtime nickname. He said that Ye, according to Kanye, he said that Ye is the most referenced or most said word in the Bible. And see, this is what I admire. This is
Ye.
That's what I love about this guy. And that's what, you know what, y'all, black folks, we always get on him about his kinship with Donald Trump. But these are two kindred personalities here in that they can take anything, and make it all about them. Right, Jordan? Yeah. What's that? Oh, your kid has cancer? Oh, that makes me sad. And speaking of me, like Ye and Donald Trump have that in common. So I don't know what's going to happen there with that. How that helps is it keeps him talked about though, and he's excellent at that. So that moves us on. Oh, speaking of controversies in entertainment, have you seen Dave Chappelle's most recent? Or he said it was going to be his last Netflix special.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I thought it was hilarious, but there's a controversy again over the whole transgender comments. But I think the people now, this whole controversy now from the transgender community, no offense if there's any transgender listeners, I think they kind of miss, if you're offended, I think you're kind of missing the point. Because he told a story towards the end, he spent the last 10 minutes laying it all out and how he didn't mean any offense whatsoever to the transgender community. And he also had a very close friend who was a member of the community and that wound up committing suicide. I thought it was very personally revealing. I thought it was very well done. And yet there was a controversy about this afterwards. Like, goodness gracious. Now, the Netflix employees, transgender employees, had a walkout, which kind of made me think, like, whoa, you got enough transgender employees in the building to have a walkout like that? That kind of shows right there you're being progressive. Yes, agreed with Bree. Buffet Bree? Who?
BFE Bree.
BFE Bree, yeah. Okay. You know what the BFE stands for?
No.
Okay. And moving on. But yeah, I think you missed the whole point there. Maybe you should go back and watch it again. I thought it was very well done. But I agree with BFE. I'm kind of like, you know how Dave Chappelle could say whatever he wants, and I'd probably start chuckling at it. But it wasn't offensive. I thought it was well done. I'm sorry. Nah.
I think, Dave Chappelle, the way he gives his social commentary, he always relates it to the way black people are treated.
Okay.
Right? If a black person is beat up by the police, it's just a regular crime.
Uh-huh.
Right? Or it's like, oh, yeah, well, you resisted arrest, you did something.
Right.
But let a transgender person be beat up. Oh, it's just
hate crime.
Yeah, it's a hate crime.
Right.
And I feel like if you can identify as transgender, you can Asian, right? Anything else that you're beating somebody up is a hate crime. It's always been a hate crime for anybody to put their hand on a black person. Right?
Okay.
There's no reason for you to do that.
Right.
You can arrest them without beating them up. You can arrest them without shooting them. You can tase them, knock them out. You know what I'm saying? Like, up the voltage a little bit. You feel me? Like, it's better than getting shot. And I've been tased before.
Okay.
Right? So I would rather be tased than to be shot.
Right.
Did it shock me? Absolutely. But, I didn't get shot.
Right.
So, you look at the situations the way they are, and it's always us that sits here and says, oh, no, Dave Chappelle is wrong. We always co-sign for everyone else, and we don't co-sign for ourselves.
Okay.
you know, and that's why our voices are so small.
So muted.
Yes.
Yes. But I think it'll die down, but yeah. That moves us on to what I've been reading and what I've been watching. So this week I had the chance to read Chernobyl 12340, the incredible story of the world's worst nuclear disaster by Andrew Leatherbarrow. And this was published in 2016, by the way. But in the book, Leatherbarrow is talking about, he does a fantastic job of running down the factual information of the disaster. And actually, this is the worst disaster that took place at Chernobyl. Many of you, I know I was alive. Many of our audience, much of our audience was alive during this. But he does an excellent job of running down the factual events of the disaster. Now, HBO has a miniseries, about 6-part miniseries on the subject, and they talk about the cleanup after the disaster. And Leatherbarrow does a good job of running that down, but also he parts of the disaster and the response to it are interspliced with Leatherbarrow's own journey to Chernobyl, because they offer tours of Chernobyl. So you can, if you want to, you can get on a bus and get transported to the site that's that's still radioactive and go for a short tour. You get ushered throughout as they keep it on a quick pace, as Leatherbarrow illustrates in the book. But it's funny now because actually I've been in the, hold on one second, folks. You can't show it. Pete had to step out with little Jordan. But what makes this book, what made me start reading this was, for the past few weeks, I have been delivering in the shadow of the Limerick nuclear power plants in Pottstown. And nuclear power plants always make me especially living through what you say at Chernobyl, and the incident at 3 Mile Island in the 80s. Because we're right within the, I don't know what they would call it, the effect radius, the blast zone, whatever. But we're living right there. And in the book, again, Leatherbarrow illustrates how effective nuclear power can be to run our generators and such. But there's so much that can go wrong from just one little mistake. I mean, in the past disasters that Leatherbarrow ran down that took place at Chernobyl, they had one reactor failure because the screws heated up and got too big inside the reactor. Something just that minute can affect our water for thousands of years. So those kind of events. But I'm down with it. I'm starting to come around on nuclear power. Although again, you can't. That's something that companies, and these are companies we're talking about, and this was a big part of why Chernobyl happened. Companies always go for the cheaper. And when you're dealing with something as destructive and powerful as nuclear power, you can't go on the cheap. You get, or as the saying, one plumber used to say, only rich people can afford cheap plumbing. So yeah, you get what you pay for. So hopefully companies just stay with the safety and spend a few dollars rather than going on the cheap. And that brings us to the end of our first block. No more Mad Greek. So what? I'll miss you. I'll miss you, Mad Greek. But coming up in the next block of the D Train, we're going to talk about why you should always watch what you put in your kid's Paw Patrol book bag. And we're trying to find a missing sex offender in Delaware County. So we got to locate him. You're on the D Train with Darren DeVoue on the Voice of Chester, cmpradio.net.
We are not going to intentionally destroy one of our own trains, not when we can still stop it.
We are not ramping down. We're just getting started. Nothing stops this train. Nothing.
How are we going to handle this? I mean, this train's en route to pass through some highly populated areas.
700 level attitude. Heart of the Italian stallion.
Oh, Universal Studios. So a LA County Sheriff's deputy, he's been fired recently. Now I can't believe this. He got fired. We've had the old hot mic stories. We've done hot mic stories on here before. But he got fired because, and he did this last year. So they finally, damn, those police unions are no joke, boy. Because this is what's caught on his hot mic. As it, a warning if you got kids, cover Jordan's ears, P, because
Open mic on the first two and open mic, so say like,
and that's the dispatch trying to tell him, yo, your mic is open.
95 Ocean, you have an open mic. 95 Ocean, open mic.
And he tearing.
95 Ocean. 95 Ocean, you have an open mic, secure mic.
Now he's finished.
And he was fired?
Yeah, finally.
My thing is, why was he fired?
Why was he? Oh, he was on duty. That was from his squad car.
Okay. Why was he fired?
He was having relations.
So you can shoot black people and not be fired. You can pull a quadriplegic man out of his car and not be fired. If you have sex in your car, you're instantly fired?
No, last year. No. You say, I hear you.
Are we about to get it on? Because I'm as hard as a diamond in an ice storm right now.
Thank you, but I need to know where that oncoming train is.
It's the D train with Darren DeVoue.
Your engine, but it's my damn train, all right?
Yes, it is your train.
I'm the damn conductor.
That's true.
Welcome back aboard the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. We're in our second block, and our second block is brought to you by the Browning Group. The Browning Group, which is a full-service security processing and security and process serving firm that specializes in criminal and civil investigations, witness statements, surveillance and workers' comp investigations, and security guard services. The Browning Group, each case is conducted with professionalism and expedience, so you receive the best possible service at all times. Call 1-800-939-2978 or go to thebrowninggroup.llc.com and tell them you rode the D train there. The Browning Group, give them a call. They'll process, secure, and serve it all. That moves us on to, Pete. We've talked before about, now I try and give people that are on the sex offender registry list a little grain of salt because, you can be on there for, trying to get a quickie in at a parking lot. You can be in there you can be on the sex offender registry for a perfectly consensual event between you and another consenting adult.
Just out in the open.
Right. But that can happen. But this gentleman here, 45-year-old Tyrone Cook, he's on the sex offender registration list. He actually has to be on lifetime registration with authorities. He was convicted of indecent assault of a person under the age of 13 back in 2019. But unfortunately, he has failed to appear before police during recent required verification check and is no longer at his documented address, authorities say. So
I don't know how to.
Didn't mean to hit that. So Cook is out on the loose. They don't know where he is. He's also been convicted of corruption of minors in relation to sexual offenses. So anybody with information is expected. Could please contact Trooper Smith of the State Police Media Barracks at 484-840-1000. Yeah. Oh, that moves us on to our next.
Another sexual.
Another sexual. Oh, this was awful though. I'm sure you've heard. This made national, if not international, news with this whole rape that was covered on the SEPTA train. SEPTA train this past week was pulling into Upper Darby, and this is according to some reports, some other passengers did nothing or recorded the incident. From when I first heard this, I was like, no way. There's no way. No. There's no way that somebody could possibly be sitting there and say, look at her. I'm going to get, how many likes I'm going to get on this? No, I'm sure that, and then come to find out, well, the district attorney, Delaware County District Attorney Jack Stolzheimer is pushing back on what he claims is a false narrative. He's saying some people recorded it and then turned that video over to Upper Darby police and SEPTA officials. Said Stolzheimer, people get off and on at every single stop. That doesn't mean when they get on that they see people interacting, that they know a rape is occurring. When asked about the content of the video and if the assault would be obvious to bystanders, Stolzheimer declined to respond and said the video was evidence. Stolzheimer said that 2 people were filmed the assault on their phones, and one of those videos was handed over to police. Stolzheimer also said one of the people who filmed was likely the person who gave an anonymous tip to SEPTA officials. So I'd like to, that'd be nice. That's good to know that this initial narrative, because man, they can't wait. National news can't wait to put not only Philadelphia fans especially, but Philadelphia citizens as a byproduct through that judgmental ringer. By the way, this is 35-year-old Fiston Nagoy, and he is in custody on suspicion of the sexual assault. So
I'm like, I don't know. Like, I have no respect for anyone, right? When you attack women and young children, be a boy or a female, right? Be a boy or a girl, right? Be a male or female, whatever it is, right? So when you're a man and you do these types of acts, I feel like they should just cut it off, like literally.
Instead of chemically castrate him, just literally castrate him, right?
He
has the audacity, the gall, the balls to do something like that.
Walk up to a woman in a public space, right? And that, for me, that would throw me off. If I was on there, I guess the first couple incidents after she says no and she keeps saying no, but then for him to rip her clothes off, like, yo, bro, what is you doing?
Right.
Say something, right? And then if you don't say anything, it's almost like you're saying it's okay for him to.
Right, like I got my own problems,
right? So you're not supporting the woman, and we need to defend our woman, right? Our women, at all costs, no matter what. So it's hard, bro. It's absolutely hard. I don't know how I could be on that train, put myself in that situation,
There's no way,
and not respond at a point. I don't
at the
care.
Very least, yo,
what is you doing? Get up, you feel me? Put your hands on him. You feel me? I don't care at that point. If he can have a black belt in Taekwondo, he can ball me up. But you're not going to continue to rape her,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, so just stop. Get off the train. What happens in that instant, right? It takes me back to 9/11. How did people take over a plane with so many people on it and crash it, right? How do you not know? Like, we're a lot lower than we ever were, right? No, let's get into the room. Like, they had box cutters. They didn't have guns.
Right, and I would have laughed. What are you going to do with that?
You only going to hurt one person, right? And we'll wrap him up and let it go, right? So men, right, as men in our community, we have to protect our women and our children first, right? That's first. We protect our women and our children, then our women and our children have our backs. You know what I'm saying? But we're not doing that anymore. And that's why we're so confused in our community. That's why there's so much stuff going on. And it's like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. Because next time, it could be your daughter, your mother, your sister, your aunt, your niece, your cousin, right? And then what do? Now you want to act? No, you wasn't acting up. You witnessed that going down. So unless we stand up, right? If we stand up to these people that are out here, and a lot of people are sick. A lot of people have a lot of, illnesses and situations. He's homeless. He's a homeless man. Right. He's not even from America. He was born in the Congolese or wherever he was born. Right. So when he comes here to this country and he's homeless and he's doing all these things, man, somebody need to beat his ass. Ball fell somewhere. Right. Cut it off. Just cut it off. When you they need to pass that. Oh no, capital punishment. Capital punishment scares people from doing things. If you go far to the left in a crime you commit, if they told me right now I would get my hands cut off for stealing, I'm not going to steal.
Right. Make sure I don't get caught.
And it's very hard to not get caught.
Right.
When people know that they're going to get to see somebody get their hand cut off.
People going to show up.
Right. People going to show up for that. So. Right. So, you have to take it far to the left in punishment, bro. Okay. And for rapists and people that take advantage, he got $180,000 bail. I know people that have been locked up and had $1 million bail from the city of Chester, $500,000. Like, why is his bail so low?
Okay.
He needs to have no bail.
Or maybe they took his homelessness into account.
He can't afford any bail.
Right.
So you have no bail until you have a house. You're not going to get one in here, so no bail. Take your ass out the man. Lorena Bobbitt cut it off. Right? She got tired of it.
She bobbing it.
Yeah, take it off, bro. You don't need it. Because obviously women your age are not, and women that say no to you, you can't hear no, yes or no. You going to rape her in front of everybody on a train?
Right.
I would have beat his ass, bro. Literally.
I got in trouble when I was a kid. I must have been about 7 years old. There was this guy, and he had his girl. I was with these two older kids that were supposed to be babysitting me, and the guy had the girl up against the wall, had his cane back. She's screaming help, and I'm little, but I'm still reaching through that gate trying to get to the guy. Right. Then those two older kids, when we got back, they told Miss Esther, who was watching us that day, they told Miss Esther. And then I got in trouble.
Right.
And then I was like, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm still doing it again. I don't care what it is.
You get in trouble for the right things by the wrong people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So we can't look at it like that, man. We have to stand up. And Vanessa Harvey said the ball fell somewhere as far as men helping and respecting women. And I tell people, if we look at the turn of us, right, the crack epidemic stopped us from trusting each other. Right, it stopped men from respecting women because now women are selling their bodies for things that they want. Right, cheap. So there's no respect given. And I said to someone the other day, I respect people that respect themselves.
Right.
Then I had to think about it for a second. It's like, wow, someone might not respect themselves because of how they were brought up or what happened. So I need to respect all people. So guess what? I respect everyone, right. and I hope that people respect me. And if you don't, then you can get the balls to the wall. We can go at it. We can go lock in. We can seriously. But respect is due to everyone. So if you give respect, then you'll get respect.
Right. As Malcolm X always said, obey the law, respect everyone.
Right. That's
but
it.
if somebody puts his hand on you, you
that,
do your best to send him to the grave.
Right.
With that moves us on to this guy. This is former Philadelphia police officer Joseph Marion. Now, back in 2015, Marion was initially fired. Now, what happened was he was off duty, sitting there in his Chevy Suburban, and he was in a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot. This is in November 2015. The employee who was salting the parking lot lost control of the cart that had the salt on it. It hit Marion's car, and he went into a pure rage, hitting the worker, hitting the worker, who was a woman, by the way, grabbing her by the neck, etc. Back then, Marion was 39. He was arrested and fired, but then he pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct, engaging in fighting, and a federal lawsuit filed by the store employee, which was settled with the city for $5,000. I would expect it more, but then in December. So then they decided part of the negotiation was he was reinstated and suspended thanks to the Fraternal Order of Police filing a grievance on his behalf. Well, in the settlement agreement, city officials agreed to reduce his termination suspension if he completed anger management and use of force training, with the city covering all the cost of the training. He didn't even have to pay for the training. And the funny thing about, they say, one thing I think about anger management, I'm sure that if you come out of there, you really want to punch somebody in the face after sitting through meetings like that. But apparently the training didn't work, because on Wednesday, Marion was arrested again on charges of simple assault, reckless endangerment, and disorderly conduct. Philadelphia Police Commissioner Daniel Outlaw, has suspended him for 30 days with the intent to dispute. Marion allegedly punched a male in the mouth with a closed fist during an off-duty altercation this past April. His gun fell to the ground during the altercation and was retrieved by a child that was on the location at the time of the incident. Marion did not point the weapon at the other man, so there's that. Neighbors described him as screaming, out of control, etc. It's unclear Thursday if the FOP will again provide legal representation for Marion. And Philadelphia FOP Union President John McNesby had no comment this time around. So in that 2015 incident in Dunkin' Donuts that led to Marion's initial firing, the woman who intervened, Lauren Gallshaw, would later say she was shocked by Marion's reaction to the shopping cart rolling into his truck. Said Gallshaw, he was like a bull in a china shop. He was red, raging, fist like, "Grr," calling her a bitch and punching her in the face. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to get this guy off the streets. Holy smokes. Talk about hair trigger temper. Oh, man. So we'll find out what happens there. But hopefully Marion was a 9-year member of the police department, last assigned to the 22nd district, and is among at least 13 Philadelphia police officers arrested this year on an assortment of crimes, including aggravated assault, conspiracy, sexual assault of minors, child pornography, obstruction of justice, perjury, tampering with records, and of course, DUI. Wowie. Does that conclude our criminal cop part of the show? Because we always have at least 4 of those stories.
Wow, we got some more stories, like some more cop stories.
In our next story, Delaware carjacking arrest. This is 19-year-old Jameer Leggett, and he's been arrested by Delaware authorities. We got this story from Delaware.gov. Young Mr. Leggett is arrested. He's of Wilmington, and he's been arrested for connection with 2 carjackings, one that took place in September and one that took place this month, both of them in Claymont, Delaware, and along Philadelphia Pike. The first incident was at September 7th at approximately 7:51 a.m. And see, you know what? That's another thing to watch. When I see young boys out at like 5 o'clock in the morning, like early teenagers, like young like this, I'm always watching them because I'm like, what are y'all doing? I know y'all ain't out for no job, and I know y'all weren't out partying that late because you ain't old enough yet to be out all night. Well, in theory, that is. But what happened in the first incident, Leggett saw a 52-year-old male victim sitting in his 2013 Acura MDX while fueling his vehicle, and then Leggett approached the man, and then when the victim fought back, refusing to give his keys, 2 other suspects jumped in and they pulled the victim from the Acura, entered it, and fled northbound on Philadelphia Pike after beating the man, of course. The second incident occurred at 9:40 p.m. Saturday, October 2nd in the parking lot of the Food Lion on Philadelphia Pike in Claymont. An unknown suspect approached a 73-year-old male sitting inside of his gray Hyundai Sonata, parked in front of the store. Suspect opened the driver's side door, demanded the keys. Victim refused, and the suspect began to, of course, assault him. When the victim fought back but was overtaken, 2 additional suspects entered the front passenger door, pulled the victim out. All 3 suspects then fled northbound on Philadelphia Pike in the stolen vehicle. The male, of course, and then he also, that victim refused treatment. Investigators were able to, through investigative means, Officers determined that Leggett was one of the suspects, and they obtained a warrant for his arrest. And October 21st, troopers successfully took him into custody without incident. He's arraigned in the Justice of the Peace Court number 2, and he's committed to the Howard R. Young Correctional Institution on $160,000 bond. Delaware State Police are still working to identify the other 2 suspects. So he didn't snitch. Why are these young boys? Well, actually, hold on. We got another story real quick about teens and carjackings. So this story comes to us from WHAM 13. And what happened was there's 2, this is in Rochester, by the way. A woman is fighting for her life, and a gentleman, her male companion, a woman was killed, her male companion fighting for her life after they were T-boned by teens in a stolen car last Sunday, right after we went off air. The 4 teens were also injured, taken into the hospital. Police say that they spotted the stolen vehicle, and when he pulls into a driveway to go pull it over, the vehicle was gone. The vehicle had sped off and then hit the vehicle track, keeping the 2 victims in it. The force of the impact struck the vehicle and sent it at least 100 feet back into the street, where it crashed into a detached garage. And that's where you see the photos being taken here. The man and woman in that car were extricated, and they were rushed to Strong Memorial Hospital, where the woman was pronounced dead and the man is in critical condition. 1 teen ran and 2 others were ejected, and 1 was still inside the vehicle. So all 4 of the teens were taken to the hospital. The Rochester Police Department says one of the suspects was arrested last month in a stolen vehicle with narcotics that intended to be sold on the street. He was given an appearance ticket, but he was caught. He's been caught in 3 stolen vehicles since June of 2019. You need to find a new line of work, sir. But that's what's killing me now. What is going on that these kids, these teenagers see? I mean, come on, with these cars, you can literally, all you have to do is take a pay stub and walk into a dealership nowadays, and they'll probably give you one for at least a month. All right, you don't have to commit violent crimes to get these cars.
So carjacking has always been a big thing, right? You had New Jersey Drive back in the day. I know for us, it wasn't so much carjacking; it was just stealing the car. Mm-hmm. Right, so never put a gun to anybody's head, but broke a couple windows and used spark plugs and got in the car and stole the car, drove around for the day. Right, it's the thrill in it. Okay. Right now, as we have progressed down the line, right, violence begets more violence. So now it becomes carjacking. People have cars. People are put in situations where people don't want to present a pay stub. You have to have a job. Right. To present a pay stub. You feel me? So most people don't have jobs. So, you're getting the car the best way you know how. Okay. Quickly. Oh, man. Actually, that moves us on to our next story. Police have seized, and now actually we're going to keep it short with this story because I saw that police seized $8.4 thousand worth of cocaine from a traffic stop in Middleton. They got 32-year-old Dwight Brown of New Britain, and he got charged with operating an unregistered vehicle, which is probably what initially led to the traffic stop. Right. That got him. You got to make sure the thing's clean if you're going to be transporting business. I don't know. Anyway, the problem was, Mr. Brown was arrested and charged with operating an unregistered vehicle, failure to obey a stop sign. So he ran a stop sign too. Possession of a controlled substance, possession with intent to sell a controlled substance, and possession with intent to sell 1/2 ounce of cocaine by non-drug dependent person. I don't know what that means. What do you mean you don't know what that means?
Oh, but so he's not on drugs.
Right.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was Middleton, like right there next to Median.
Delaware.
Yeah, but it turned out to be Middletown, Connecticut. So.
Middletown, Connecticut. So in an arrest of someone with that much cocaine, they need a reason, probable cause.
Okay.
Right? So they'll put all those traffic tickets up there to say this is why we pulled him over.
Right.
But 9 times out of 10, the narcs were already on him.
Okay. They
said
knew.
he breezed through a stop sign. Who's going to prove that you didn't breeze through a stop sign?
That's your word against his.
It's the cop's word against yours.
And that's already tough enough, especially when you got 8.4 thousand.
Right. you got a lot of cocaine in the car, bro. So, we're about to search the car. Like,
right.
Did they say he didn't have a license?
No.
So why are you searching the car?
Okay.
Right. I have a license. If this car isn't right, you give me my ticket
and send me on my way. You don't search the car, right? You can't smell cocaine. It's not marijuana. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's right there. It's all right there. It's written all right there. If you read between the lines and don't believe the story that this man was, it's like, why you pull him over? Oh, because did he have a license? Mm-hmm. If you get pulled over right now with your license running through a stop sign, they're not searching your car. And the car is unregistered too.
How is it unregistered?
That
Right.
How about that?
And that's easy because they don't have the registration stickers on the back of these cars now.
Right.
All right, I'll just call PennDOT and re-register it. I'm sorry, it slipped my mind.
Right.
When have they not allowed you to pull over and pull off? When have they really searched your car and locked you up? When they already know who you are. Your name pop up, narcotics say, we've been watching him for a minute. Right. Go ahead, search his car. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Search the car, find it, and let it go.
Well, good luck to him on that front. That moves us on to our next story, which is pretty sad. This young lady here, this is Shemaya Lynn. Now, Shemaya Lynn is no longer with us. Why is Shemaya Lynn no longer with us? She was having a Zoom call at work, a work Zoom call, when her toddler, a 2-year-old, looked in his Paw Patrol bag and found a gun that was left there by his father, Deandre Avery, 22-year-old. And this is in Altamonte Springs, Florida, by the way. So the kid found the gun and shot his mother, incidentally, killing her right there on the spot. Avery arrived and called 911. Also, a coworker that was on the Zoom called 911, reporting that she had heard a noise and saw Lynn fall. Can you imagine? Going over TPS reports and everything, and next thing you know, you hear that boom, and you see a coworker no longer in the screen. You're like, work meetings are bad enough. The woman also, the coworker didn't know how old Lynn was or where she lived, but Avery also called 911, begging responders to hurry as he tried to help Lynn. Quote unquote, said Avery on the 911 call, "I literally just got home, came in the room, and my girlfriend was working on the computer. She just laid back there and there's blood everywhere," Avery said. Avery told the dispatcher that Lynn was not breathing and he could not feel her heartbeat, and she was pronounced dead at the scene. So he's looking at charges of, he's being held without bond, and he's not having an attorney. So said there was another child that was in the house during the shooting. But it goes back to these guns. They're just everywhere nowadays. You can't, you can lose a phone, okay? You can misplace that and say, oh, damn. Oh, shit, I got to charge this thing. Where is it? But, don't lose the damn guns. And why is the gun in the Paw Patrol? Once you see all those colors, okay, don't put the gun there because those bright colors and little cartoon characters are going to attract kids.
Devil's advocate, right?
Okay.
On the other side, I'm a drug dealer, right? And if I put this gun in my son's bag, no one's going to check it.
Last place anybody will look. I was thinking that too.
Right?
Was he thinking, yeah.
I'm drunk. And
on that wet or whatever. Yeah.
Or whatever I'm on, right? And the last place I'm going to check for a gun is in a Paw Patrol bag. That's what ends up happening. You got kids that go into these daycares with all types of stuff.
How about that?
Heroin, weed, cocaine. You feel me?
Right.
The parent just gets intoxicated the night before, right? A little bit too much, and now the child is in daycare with your whole package.
You're right.
Guns, as far as I'm concerned, we as a black community, we need to practice gun safety.
Right. Oh, yes.
No one has ever stressed us. Yes, guns are bad in the wrong hands, but guns protect you, right? That's what a gun is for. Someone breaks into your house, you fire the gun, they're running out of the house, right?
Right.
A woman about to be raped, she got a gun, the guy ain't gonna rape her. You know what I'm saying? Because she done shot him. So there's so many instances where a gun is necessary. We're just fearful of the gun, right? And we make our children scared of the gun, and then other children are scared of the gun. Now there's so many people that are getting guns illegally. You feel me? And they don't know how to properly maintain a gun, clean a gun, fire a gun, anything. Then you have these crimes that we have, right? So who shot her? The little boy or the
little boy?
He thought it was a play. He thought it was a toy.
And he found it right when, especially where he found it in his Paw Patrol bag. He didn't,
Oh, mommy bought me a new gun.
Awesome, right? Oh my goodness, man. That moves us on to our next story. This here is Officer Tony. He's a Tennessee officer. Well, former Tennessee officer. He resigned after, it's Tanner Holt is his name. Officer Tanner Holt. Now he resigned after after an investigation found the comments that he made at a wedding. During this wedding, he said he don't know why they let black people into the venue, and then that's when somebody who said that they couldn't take it anymore got up and knocked him out right there at the wedding. So he got knocked out by attendee Jonathan Toney. I wonder if he's related to James Toney, former heavyweight champion, if he's walking around knocking people out. Tony said he asked Holt to stop speaking about race. Holt declined and said he was part of the black community. And that's when Tony punched Holt unconscious. In the course of the preliminary, said the Tennessee Police Department, in the course of preliminary investigation, responding officers were made aware of numerous violations of the police code of conduct policy, including allegations that Holt made racially motivated statements and that precipitated the assault. And there you go. While it's unclear what the specific rule violations the department is referring to, the Knoxville Department Code of Ethics states that its employees should not act in, quote, immoral, indecent, lewd, or disorderly manner, or in the manner that might be construed by observer as immoral, indecent, lewd, or disorderly. No charges were ever filed against him, but he did walk away. I'm sure though he will find a very welcoming police department somewhere nearby. He's going to land. This young guy, Mr. Holt's going to land right on his feet. Don't you worry, folks. An off-duty, speaking of cops, we got a couple more cop stories. An off-duty, this comes to us from the Daily Beast. Now, an off-duty officer, Yvonne Wu, and that's who's pictured here. Yvonne Wu, according to the article, she shot her ex-girlfriend and killed another woman. This Officer Liu was waiting for her ex-girlfriend, Jenny Lee, at Jenny Lee's apartment in Brooklyn. When Lee walked in the door, Wu shot both her and the other woman. According to a friend of Lee's who spoke to the New York Daily News, she said she and Wu, that's the officer, broke up about a month ago. Lee, 23, is expected to survive a single gunshot wound to the body. The unidentified 24-year-old hit at least once in the chest, died at the scene. Wu was 31-year-old, was off duty at the time of the shooting, but she allegedly used her service weapon. 911 call was placed with the caller identifying herself as Lee. In the background of the call, a voice could be heard saying, "That's what you get," the news reported. Authorities responding to the scene found Wu waiting outside, calm, collected, and very forthcoming. Said Assistant Chief Michael Kemper, simply put, she confessed. Damn. Wu had been on the force since 2016. She is now in custody, facing murder and attempted murder charges. Man, we get those stories of what, like, when are people just going to walk away? She found somebody new, move on. But this is like one of the, we don't hear too many instances of this with females escalating to sex violence. Usually that's kind of the man thing. These women are getting in on this. Women are getting in on it. That's kind of scaring me a little bit. The ladies are getting a little escalating things a bit here. Oh, shoot. I didn't have that. Ladies are escalating.
The escalating?
Yeah, escalating.
Escalating situations. I mean, listen, man, we're all human. We all have feelings. We all have emotions, right? And I guess when it gets the best of us, we act on them, right? Everybody, man and woman. So it's not so much this is a woman's emotion. This is a man's emotion.
Right.
You know, it's a human emotion, man. Anger, hurt, frustration, hostility.
Jealousy, yeah.
Right. That those are human emotions, right? They're not put into a jar anymore. Everybody's capable of so many things. So, you know.
Boy,
you have to.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah,
I mean, that really and fast.
It jumped. It really does.
Like the drop of a hat, literally.
At the drop of a hat, right? You know, so she was in a relationship with the other woman?
She was in a the off-duty cop was in a relationship with the surviving victim. The deceased victim was maybe her replacement. Might have even just been a friend. Like, you know, but she made the mistake of walking in the door with her at this. Got to get those keys back too, or she might have broken into the girl's apartment.
And she got keys made.
Right, how about that?
From the rip. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
From the absolute rip. When you give somebody keys, understand that they can get those keys doubled up.
Right.
And made again. So don't ever think just because he gave you the keys back that he or she doesn't still have keys to your place.
Just change the locks, man.
Change the locks. If you change partners, change the locks.
Right. There you go.
Feel me? Like, I don't want you in here. I need you to know you can't come in here. You know what I'm saying? That's how you change it. You don't just give me my keys back. No, you change it. You don't even ask for the keys back. They come back the next day and the locks change.
Right. How about that?
Listen, I don't need the keys from you. You keep them. You won't be coming in here.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Now, this next story is kind of sad. This is the mother of, her name is Carolina Vizcarra, 33-year-old in Florida. She left her 2-year-old daughter with an off-duty police officer on Tuesday, handing him also giving the officer the girl's social security card and telling him she was going to the bathroom. Mind you, they were at Mercy Hospital, and then she just walked away. She never came back. According to the arrest report, Vizcarra told her, the officer told Vizcarra as she was walking away, "You don't have to do this." Vizcarra responded saying, "Leave me alone." She handed and this was in Miami, by the way. She handed the cop off to this unknown man. Luckily, he was a Miami police officer. And what was going through her mind when he went into police mode? He's got this little girl that he's holding, and he can only go so far to follow her, and that's when the cop called for help. Police said a be on the lookout was issued for the mother, and that she wasn't initially found. According to the arrest report, Vizcarra called the detective around 5:40 p.m. Tuesday, said she was at a hospital looking for a baby, provided a description of her daughter's clothing, which matched the description of the bolo. The report stated that 3 officers responded to the hospital, spoke with the mother, who spontaneously told one of them, "It's not like I just left her. It's a hospital, and I was worried for her. I was thinking I'm about to sleep on the streets, but not her." So Vizcarra is basically using like her impending homelessness as her reason for leaving the child with the cop. Now, I was kind of taken aback that she got arrested, because I thought you can always just, if you don't want a child.
Where she's from?
She's from Florida. But apparently there is the law.
Sanctuary law.
Now, that's what I thought, I thought fire stations and hospitals, you could drop a child off.
Not a police officer.
But she, and yeah, right.
You don't want your child. I don't want it.
Right.
I'm going to lock you up and then take your child.
Oh, but actually, under Florida's safe haven law, only newborns, not more than a week old, can be dropped off at a hospital.
And that's not good, bro. That's absolutely sad.
So if you want to get rid of that kid, you got to make that decision real quick in Florida. Yeah, that's sad though. And yeah, so they can a newborn not more than a week old can be dropped off at a hospital, fire station, or emergency medical services station anonymously without fear of prosecution. But as Pete referred to, she dropped it off to a police officer. Oh, that's sad though. I hope that. Because, I mean, we're looking at a future damaged child here. Like, is this what we're, like?
I mean, we as parents, right, we fail to realize that, you know, our lives are over. And everybody says, no, my life isn't over. No, you're living for your child.
Yeah.
Man. So the things that you want to do for you, that they're not there. You have the things that you're going to do for your child is show your child hard work, dedication, commitment, understanding, communication, all of these things that you have to tell your child and show your child and pour into your child to make sure your child grows up healthy. You need both parents, bro. And it's hard nowadays, right? People get upset, people dip off, right? People run away, right? It's just, it's sad that you can never come back because we have children that are off balance because they don't have both parents.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, there's ways to compensate too. I mean, what?
How are you compensating for a parent?
Big Brothers, Big Sisters program?
Big
but
Brothers,
even then, though.
Big Brothers, Big Sister program, right? Yeah, they can help the children and the children, but
it's still going to be.
If the mother doesn't want to put the child in the Big Brother, Big Sister program and she okay with the child just going out front and hanging out with the homies, guess what the child ends up doing? He ends up carjacking.
Right. How about that? Yeah.
So if you're not willing to put your child in something productive, you're not going to get productive energy into your child or out of your child.
And I couldn't, because I'm not a parent, but like all the things that run through, like if I'm babysitting a kid, all the things that worry me about, like, yo, don't trip over that, break your face on the kitchen floor. And then I got to, you know what I mean? I'm always worried about something little happening to that kid. And I think to myself, ooh, imagine doing this 24/7.
24/7.
Like,
imagine doing it for 18 years, and now you got another 18 years to do it. Like, everybody keeps saying it. He was like, "Damn, Pete, man, your daughter in college, and you got a 1-year-old."
Yes.
Like, what were you thinking? I love children, bro. Literally, like, you know, I love to be around them. I love to talk to them, right? And nurturing kids, man, is important. As an adult, man, that's what you should want to do. You should understand all your faults and all the things that you've done wrong and say, you know what, I can't let this child fall down the same trap that I fell in.
Right.
That should be your goal. Because it was mine. When I had my son, I was going to jail. You know? And to know that my son he can't do this. I came home and I was like, nah, I'm done.
Right.
I have to show him better. Right?
Right.
That's what I have to do, right? And now I have to live better for him, right? I thought showing him better was a good way, but no, he has to see it in action.
Right.
I can't just say indicate to people, oh, that's a good person. Follow that person. Do that.
Watch his game tape. Yeah.
Right. No, I have to be able to do that. And if I can't do it, then he's going to do the same things that I did.
Right. And speaking, so that moves us to our next story, which this young man here, this is Daryl Neely, and Daryl Neely is accused of, can you believe this? He was in the January 6th riots.
Yeah.
But my thing was, as soon as I saw him, as soon as I saw the picture of him, I saw the headline, but as soon as I saw the picture of him, I thought to myself, you would kind of stand out amongst the January 6th rioters, I would expect, right? Hours after Neely stormed the supporters of former President Trump and stormed the U.S. Capitol, he invited 3 friends to a video call to recap his day. During this video call, he showed off items he claimed to have stolen from the Capitol, which included 4 china plates, a baseball cap, and a jacket with a silver badge on the front, and with white letters on the back. Neely boasted that he had attacked a U.S. Capitol police officer and had taken the USCP jacket, badge, name tag, and baseball cap from the officer, a person described as Witness 3 told investigators. Neely runs an online conservative radio station called Global Enlightenment Radio Network. And you put these souvenirs from the theft on the YouTube channel of this broadcast network, pretty much saying to cops, like, right here, and, well, excuse me, the FBI, because it's beyond the cops now. Neely faces 5 federal charges of theft of government property, entering restricted building, disorderly conduct, and in a restricted building, and the Capitol building. He was arrested this past Monday by D.C. police. Jeez. But again, they have brothers walking around, like the Kanyes of the Kanye Brigade walking around like, I don't know
what they want.
Whew. Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of Capitol rioters, there's this one fella. Now, what did we say? What do we say about a guy who represents himself? You know the old saying about a guy who represents himself, or a person who represents himself in court?
No, what is it saying?
They've got a fool for a client.
Oh.
So
you said in court. I thought you said in port.
Oh yeah, court, sorry.
Right.
This one Capitol rioter, this here is Brandon Fellows, and the judge in D.C., this was according to WUSA, the judge advised him against doing this. The judge said, most people do not do this, District Judge Trevor McFadden told Fellows. I do not think this is a good idea, but I'm going to allow you to take the stand if you wish. Not only to defend yourself, but to take the, never, if you're being, never take the stand. Never. Especially, well, I guess he had his lawyer told him to, meaning himself. You can take the stand if you wish. Fellows then admitted that he gained access to the Capitol through a broken window and that he tried to get a previous judge removed from the case using the judge's wife's contact information. This he revealed while on the stand. At the end of the hearing, McFadden, the judge, orders Fellows back into custody and told him, "You've admitted to incredible lapses of judgment here on the stand, not the least of which is seeking to disqualify a New York State judge." So he's back. He admitted to 2 more felonies, including the felonies he was being accused of, on the stand representing himself. With that said, if you can't afford, file this away, folks. Never, ever say anything. If you can't afford the lawyer, then stand mute. Just let the judge do what he's going to do. Just don't say anything. I found that sometimes in my childhood. Sometimes when you're caught, it's better to just keep your mouth shut and don't say anything. That moves us on to this story here. So I've talked before about teaching. Oh shoot. I've talked before about teaching, being a former teacher. And this is a former teacher here. And this story comes to us from WISTV, which is in Wisconsin, but the story itself comes from Columbia, South Carolina. This is former Lexington County Elementary School teacher Victoria Weiss, 27-year-old, and she's charged with possession of a Schedule I drug, and she's out on her own recognizance. What was she doing with the Schedule I drug, this former teacher? She took Stony Patch gummies, believing they were Sour Patch Kids, thinking, I don't know if she thought they were Sour Patch Kids or what, but she offered them, and these students, basically weed gummies, edibles, were in the students' prize box, which is horrible. I mean, that's just a waste of edibles, if you ask me. Don't be why would you even have them? The other student grabbed a Dum Dums lollipop, and police became involved in this September 23rd case. At the receiving word, a Rocky Creek Elementary student picked a pack of marijuana edibles out of a box that she used as the reward. box, the reward box, which is what a lot of teachers use. Detectives confirmed during interviews that Weiss took a pack of edibles from the student and told him to pick something else from the box. Oh, no, you don't want that. You don't want that. Get something else. Damn it, I got the edibles mixed up with the Sour Patch Kids. The student went back to the box and happened to grab another pack of edibles. Damn, she was just sloppy. After getting the prize, the students with the gummies went to an after-school daycare program, asked his teacher there to help him open the pack, and the after-school program teacher noticed the bag was not Sour Patch Kids, did not open the bag, and contacted the kids' school. After being informed about the incident, Rocky Creek assistant principal found another pack of marijuana gummies in the prize bowl, and deputies found TH edible. That's when they got a warrant, and deputies found THC edibles in her house, according to the arrest warrant. The report from law enforcement also says Weiss was hysterical when she was approached by her assistant principal, which is probably, maybe she's just so hysterical she constantly needs to eat these gummies. No students ate the edibles, according to the assistant principal. Don't know what she's released on her own recognizance, court appearance to be later. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, we talked before. Oh, P mentioned earlier, like police just grabbing people out of the car. Al Copeland in our next story. This is Al Copeland, and he's a Boston resident. He was driving in Boston one night when he started to feel nauseous, realized he needed to pull over. That's when the 62-year-old realized that something was wrong. I say, well, at least it happens to me. He figured he started to know that he was having a stroke. Then he just laid there figuring, okay, if this is happening, somebody's going to find me. And somebody did find him. It was Boston police, and they found him slumped over in his car and barely conscious in front of the Berklee College of Music. Instead of calling an ambulance, they arrested him. They wrote in the report that they smelled alcohol, even though he hadn't had a drink since 1995. His wife, Valerie, suspects she knows that the reason police mistakenly thought he was drunk, Al, is black. Side note, my father, he had onset of diabetes at work. And so he, starts wobbling on his feet, pisses himself, etc., right there at Manzar Dining Hall. And then one of his coworkers, another guy who was notoriously a racist anyway, but his first thought was my father was drunk, and he actually was making a big deal, like he was going to take it to the administration until he found out that my father was a diabetic suffering onset. Now, what happened now back to our story here with Mr. Copeland, they pulled him out of the car, arrested him. They watched 5 hours of videotape footage captured at the station. And the cops, according, was very uncaring. It didn't get better when they got him. They took him to the medical center. Police records show that medical providers also assumed Al was drunk and left him in the emergency room for more than 7 hours. It was only when Valerie, his wife, tracked down her husband that the doctors confirmed that he had no drugs or alcohol in his system. And he wasn't drunk, and they realized he was having a stroke. But by then, the damage was done. Al had to remain in the hospital for weeks and then move to rehab. He had to give up his job with the Massachusetts Transportation Authority, and he's still having trouble walking or even enjoying a meal. But now they wound up having to pay out a settlement to recently. $1.3 million payout has been issued to Mr. Copeland. But I doubt anything will change with police policy, though. But they feel that WBUR first approached the Copelands about the settlement. They were initially reluctant to talk, but they initially decided to tell the story, sitting down with a reporter. They hope that sharing their story will help prevent such mistakes from happening in the future. Man, that's it. So, oh wait, I lost my engineer, but he's got things to do. Oh, that moves us on to this happy story, happy arrest here. And this is, or hold on 1 second, folks. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, that right there is Hal Yorick, and he's a shyster of. Oh, excuse me. That's Central Defense Attorney Central Florida Defense Attorney Hal Yorick, and he's one shyster of a lawyer. He's accused of witness tampering, solicitation to commit perjury, and tampering with a witness or victim. Excuse me. You might not recognize this defense attorney because he actually is well known, and it's nice to see him getting locked up. Why? Because he was defense attorney for none other than George Zimmerman, who, of course, was known for the incident with Trayvon Martin. So it's nice to see that justice in this case is being done with some respect. Karma's a bitch, a thing. With that, though, that moves us to, is that the end of our second block? We're getting low on time now. That moves us to the end of our second block. Don't forget, the D-Train is brought to you in part by the Browning Group, which is a full-service security and process serving firm that offers a variety of services throughout Pennsylvania, specializing in criminal and civil investigation, witness statements, workers' comp investigations, and security guard services. The Browning Group, each case is conducted with professionalism and expedience, so you receive the best possible service at all times. Call 1-800-939-2978 or go to thebrowninggroup.llc.com. And when you get there, tell them you rode the D-Train there. Coming up in our next block, speaking of shyster lawyers, Alex Murdaugh makes another appearance, and a wizard's run comes to an end. You're on the D-Train with Darren DeVoue on cmpradio.net, the voice of Chester.
We are not going to intentionally destroy one of our own trains, not when we can still stop it.
We are not ramping down. We're just getting started. Nothing stops this train. Nothing.
Runaway freight train in Pennsylvania.
He doesn't have expert opinion. He's an expert at giving his opinion.
This is 34-year-old William Atkinson. And, Chris Rock has that line when he was talking about OJ. I'm not saying he did kill her, but if he did, I understand. Right. I wouldn't go as far as to say I understand with this story, but I kind of. Now, what Mr. Atkinson is accused of is beating his wife. Now, why did he beat his wife? Because of a video call. What was happening during that video call?
They was having sex.
She was having sex with another man during a video call.
No, you don't beat her for that.
No,
you don't beat her for that. You don't even have it. Yeah.
I don't know her.
Try to act like it never happened, right? Because she's been doing this for a while.
Right.
So I need you to call your boyfriend and give me some money.
Right. And interestingly enough, she was in a car, and she was in the parking lot of a hotel.
How did the video call go through?
Now, that's what I can't. Did somebody do this intentionally? Well, Atkinson figured out where she was, and he drove to the parking lot to confront the victim and her male companion. The victim, then they told him they did it, so it was done intentionally. They did it to egg him, quote unquote, egg him on.
Who did it to egg him on?
The victim, or the wife and her beau.
Why not just leave it?
Right. That'd be too easy. That'd be too simple.
Now with me understanding life, right, and going through a divorce and all those other things. I understand now. You can just leave.
Sir, we're not just talking about a train here. We're talking about a missile the size of the Chrysler building.
It's the D train with Darren DeVoue.
It's your train. I'm just the guy driving it.
Welcome back aboard for our last block, the D Train with Darren DeVoue on the station, the voice of Chester, cmpradio.net. And don't forget, if you miss any of cmpradio.net's content, such as the Real Sugar Honey Iced Tea podcast or Uncle P's Neighborhood Conversations, you can just like and subscribe the CMP Radio YouTube or Facebook page. And don't forget to share those videos if you are entertained by it. Enjoy the content. P's back.
Yeah. I had to. I went in the room and I'm looking at Jordan. And she's looking at me like my diaper. She's watching what she wanted to watch. So I'm looking at her diaper. I'm like, I look for. Then I picked her up and I felt it. I said, "Oh no, there's some poop in here. We gotta change this." So, I'm sorry, I had to run off and change her.
That's
diaper.
what's up though. It's good that she recognized I'm handling business there.
Yeah,
I'm getting in thinking position right now.
They just so she just turned a year, so they moved her on to whole milk.
Okay. Oh
right?
boy.
So at first it was kind of rough, but then it's like what the doctor says. At the end of the day, the child's going to eat what you put in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the parent makes concessions and let me do this and no, give her the bottle, and if she doesn't, when she gets hungry, she'll eat it. She has no other choice.
Right.
This is what I want, right? So I don't have no choice. But so now she's on it. She's drinking whole milk, and she has whole diarrhea like a grown person.
And that's the thing that always killed me when I first changed the diaper. Like, whoa, you would think this is an adult.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Oh yeah. Rats. We got a rat problem. Well, not we here in Chester, thankfully, but in Philly, they, according to this report that came out recently from phillyvoice.com, Philly's rat problem is among the worst in the U.S., says a pest control company. And if you had to take a guess, which section of Philly, besides Center City with its restaurants and what have you, would be worst infested?
Northeast.
Ding, or wait, I thought you were going to say North Philly.
North Philly, Northeast, it's all North Philly to me.
Oh, right? Yeah, that's true.
Right. It's all North Philly to me. It's cold up there, bro.
Yeah, and there's people, that's probably the tightest populated part of the city. Like, people are on top of each other. The streets and the houses are it's just very tight. I don't like being in North Philly. I feel closed in up there.
Nervous?
Yeah.
It's cold up there, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my homies in North Philly, man.
Let's see. Philadelphia has been named the rattiest city in the United States for the second straight year. 1 week after local media shed light on a hunting park lot that is overrun by the rodents. To create its top 50 rattiest cities, Orkin ranked the cities based on the number of new residential and commercial treatments. So they basically based it off of their business that they're doing. The pest control company performed from September of last year to September of this year. Chicago kept the top spot for the 7th consecutive year, followed by Los Angeles, New York, Washington, San Francisco, and Baltimore. Orkin said the pandemic had an impact on this year's rat activity, said Orkin representative. During an unprecedented last year, the visibility of rodents increased, creating concern for homeowners and business owners alike. The pandemic-driven closure of restaurants forced rodents to find new food sources. Without food waste to consume, these pests were seen scavenging new areas and exhibiting unusual or aggressive behavior. So the rats are about to rise up, people. The rankings.
Rat poison. Doesn't rat poison work?
Yeah, but those things are smart.
What?
Those rats.
They're not smart.
They're smart.
They're not that smart.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh. They're burrowing into the rats have overtaken a vacant lot on the 3600 of Germantown Avenue. The rats are burrowing into the ground and under nearby buildings. One resident told CBS 3 that 50 to 70 rats can be seen at one time. Ugh. Whew. So we asked folks, said Philadelphia Health Control Health Department. We asked that folks call 215-685-9000 as soon as they see evidence of rats. The sooner they call, the sooner we will be out. Sometimes things get slowed down going from 311 to vector control, so it's best to call us directly. The service is provided free of charge to all residents of Philadelphia, and it does not matter if the complaint comes from the owner, tenant, or a neighbor. So there you go.
Cats.
But with rats, man, I think that rats would just, if you
Rats
could
for what?
tear that cat to pieces. If you got enough rats, no? 10 rats versus 1 cat?
It's over for the cat.
Yeah.
That's why you got to get those special cats, them Egyptian cats. They hunters for real.
Ooh.
Siamese cats, hunters.
Right.
You can't get the regular.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, can't get no tabby.
Regular tabby.
He don't know nothing what he doing. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention lists several steps homeowners can take to prevent rats and mice from entering their homes, eliminate the conditions that attract rodents, seal any access point to the homes, remove debris and heavy vegetation, keep the garbage in tightly covered bins, and remove pet and bird food from the yard. Monitor rodent populations, especially after natural disasters, and we'll see a reduction in rodent populations followed by an increase in rodent populations as non-commercial activity returns to normal.
Rat poison.
Finally clean up. It doesn't say rat poison.
Listen, I mean, everybody, they become so humane. Oh, don't kill the rat. Trap the rat and let it go. Why would I let it go somewhere else for it to procreate and bring 30, 50, 70, 80, 90, 100 more with him when he comes back? Kill the rat, solve the problem. I was watching Halloween Kills last night, right?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And the first situation when he was like, man, kill Michael Myers. The boy had the opportunity to kill him, but at the end of the situation, right, it's like, it's not Michael Myers. It's a feeling that we have as human, right, to kill people. So Michael, it might not have been the same Michael Myers every time. It might have been a different person. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he could have died. Okay. The one cop said, he saved his life because he felt like it was a shed of humanity left in him. Michael Myers, he had to kill at least 100 people in that movie.
Oh man, he got it.
He killed the whole fire department. Was putting the house out. From the last situation, he was putting the house out. Man, he done killed the whole fire department. One of them had an automatic, one of them joints, the chainsaw to cut through everything.
Oh, the John Life.
I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
Well, I mean, after that many installments, you got to up the goriness.
The murder. I mean, they were in the hospital. They bringing people in. They got bodies in the morgue. I'm just like, yo, this is crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
But to their point, right? When you are in the rodent trapping, I catch mice, I torture the hell out of them.
Let them scream, spread the word.
I cut the tail off.
Oh my God.
I got a whole mouse catching utensil. I put my gloves on, cut the tail off, fuck with the whiskers, put a little fire, ring of fire around them, right? And watch them squirrel up on the joint, right? And then I take them outside and I step on it.
Oh my God. After all that,
right? Step on it. I remember I put one in a little toy box. I bought my son. It was like a He-Man toy or something like that. And I had it in a box and I took it home to my mom. And she was like, "What's this?" I said, "Here." She said, "Oh my God, there's a mouse in there." She's scared of mice.
Oh, my mother too. She would have killed you.
Here you go. A big woman like you're scared of a little animal like that.
My mother can take flight, like literally. Like I saw her the one time. It was a Super Bowl rolling across the kitchen floor. She thought it was a mouse. Her vertical was amazing.
Right. Like, mom, you should play basketball.
Oh, look at that.
Right. But yeah,
a standing leap right into the chair.
I don't play no games, bro.
Oh, I usually smash if I caught mice like at this one place I had, it was infested. And so I would catch them on the glue trap, but I couldn't stand to see them on that glue trap whining the last few hours of their life away. So I would cover them in a bag and then give them the business and end the suffering there. P says poison.
Poison.
Kill them.
Rat traps.
Now, we've discussed before the weirdest place to ever engage in relations, but this...
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Oh, well,
Carolina Panthers game in the bathroom. Surrounded by other guys. You just pull her dress up. Just give it to her. She got on the Aguilar jersey too.
Yeah, that's one catch he made.
That's definitely one catch he made.
Court, this comes to us from TMZ, and these two will not be charged. They're saying they couldn't get enough evidence of the Eagles fans. Cops, according to the Philadelphia police, Eagles fans were not arrested for having sex at the bathroom at the Panther Stadium. They were initially believed to be at the bathroom stall, but eventually police fans were not arrested over the incident. A rep for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department tells officers were dispatched to a men's bathroom during the game, but they could not confirm if the couple was engaging in intercourse. So, man, they were really excited about that comeback.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles.
The birds are coming back, baby, and so am I. Right. Like, oh my goodness.
We won that game, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. So we need them at every game. We need them in the bathroom of every game. Let's go, man.
And speaking of which,
beat that bald eagle up.
Oh my God. Speaking of sex in places, you ever had? Well,
go ahead.
I'll tell you after we get off air. But once I don't want to damage any future employment prospects. But once I engaged in I was in my early 20s. You know, that age where you just really not thinking things through. And I engaged in sex at work. But this here, I wasn't a high-ranking U.S. Marshal like the gentleman in our next story. He allegedly had a tryst with an employee at the U.S. Marshals Virginia headquarters, and it may have been caught on video.
I don't want to see no video with him.
I know, right?
I can just imagine what the female looked like. Because he looked like...
Yeah.
I'm trying to... Like Porky the Pig.
Right. How about that?
Mixed with Beavis the Butthead.
Bend over.
I can just imagine what she looked like.
What
was Porky's girlfriend's name? Charlotte?
Petunia.
Petunia?
Yeah.
Petunia the Pig?
Yeah.
Mixed with Beavis. Oh, no.
The two senior, and they're saying that they're two senior ranking officials. It happened over the summer. And
pause. This is not the first time this has ever happened.
All right.
This is not the second time this has ever happened.
This is when they finally got caught.
This is when they finally got caught. And they're not the only ones to do it.
Right. I'm sure it goes down in the parking lot and everything. It goes
at that down
place.
At work, in the office. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You want some of this, don't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Anytime.
Any place.
Any place.
I don't care who's around.
Right. The more specific recent activity that actually they got caught because of a Freedom of Information Act request sent to the U.S. Marshal Service by the Federal Managers Association. The more specific recent activity that we seek documentation on involves serious allegations of sexual misconduct by two agency employees within the senior ranks, purportedly at agency's headquarters complex, i.e. in a taxpayer-funded office space. FMA, a nonprofit group that advocates on behalf of federal employees, including U.S. Marshals, also requested any audio or video depiction of the encounter. We want to see that. Let's see that. In a subsequent letter to the U.S. Marshal Service, the FMA said they obtained information that the lovers in the alleged headquarters romp also traveled together on a work trip to an office in Louisiana and opted to book a hotel room instead of staying on site. So, in 2017, a senior U.S. Marshal in Boston admitted to having sex with 9 women in offices controlled by the agency after initially lying to investigators and asking the women not to cooperate. He did a George Costanza. You ever see that episode of Seinfeld where Costanza gets caught having sex with the cleaning lady in his office? And so he gets called into the boss's office, and they're like, George, yo, because he gets caught on video. And so the bosses call him into the office. They tell George, yo, we saw you doing this, that, and the other. And George Costanza goes, was that wrong? Because I got to tell you guys, I got to plead ignorance on this one. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that was wrong. I didn't know we weren't allowed to do that. Right?
I wonder if the officer or the marshals involved in this case did the same thing. What? You mean you can't bang after office?
I mean, that's the exact same thing I said about the cop.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That's a natural human reaction or emotion to seeing, something that arouses you. Is for you to start foaming at the mouth over. And once the woman realizes that she has you, it's up to her whether or not she wants to do it or not. If she didn't want to do it, it would be rape.
Right.
So both parties were consensual. It doesn't matter where you have sex. That's how I feel. I could be wrong, but I know I'm not.
Alex Murdaugh. He's shyster. We talked about a shyster lawyer at the end of the second block while you were changing the diaper, P.
Mm-hmm.
George Zimmerman's lawyer got locked up. But this shyster, Alex Murdaugh, we've talked about him several times. He's back in it. He finally admits that he's a person of interest now in the murders of his wife and one of his sons. He's also, we reported last week that he was having the cleaning person sue him in an attempt to get insurance scam, and the cleaning person was going to get and break him off, Murdaugh, break him off the money that he was going to do whatever with. But now he is being held. They're not letting him go. They have him under a do not let go. They consider him a flight risk now at this point, which they should. I mean, as dirty as this guy is, he's dirty. Who knows, like all the, and these are the crimes that we're discussing. Like, who knows what kind of craziness that he has just wrought about the justice system down there in South Carolina. Did you see the North Korean army do an exhibition this past week where soldiers, Kim Jong-un, as we're happy to see, is back. He's alive and healthy, but they did what dictators like to do, demonstrate army, have parades. And so we don't have the video of it, but soldiers were smashing bricks with their heads, concussing themselves in essence, bricks across their body in a show of North Korean strength and force. But again, I don't have the video. I lost the video. Okay? Screwed the pooch on that one. Yeah. Peace all of it. They were like, yeah.
That was awesome.
They were some, yeah. I guess when you're in a country run by a dictator, you'd be willing to smash that head with a brick rather than, because he'll kill your entire family if you don't. That was impressive to see though.
They hit him over the head with everything. like literally, figuratively and literally everything. They hit him with pipes and poles and bags. They was pulling out stuff from everywhere.
Like some crazy.
This is North Korea, right?
Yes.
Right. They was pulling out stuff from everywhere. Like why in a war would I be hitting you with? I'm shooting you with a gun. Right. Show me that you can take a bullet.
That he's bulletproof.
Show me that. I don't care about the stuff you getting hit with. I'm gonna hit you with a gun. You're gonna get hit with a bullet.
Piece it ain't gonna be all that hand to hand.
Ain't gonna be none of that hand to hand crap. Like, what's wrong with you?
Oh my goodness.
Listen, I before I leave the base, listen, do I got enough to reload? Right. I want to reload 40 times. That's how much ammunition I need to carry. Reload, yeah, reload. There's no way, and he's probably the toughest guy they got. Because everybody else looks smaller than him.
Right. He is huge for North Korea. He is like,
he was bred in a lab.
One of the super soldiers.
He was bred in a lab. He's a super soldier, but he's not bulletproof.
You can guarantee that.
So yeah, pull that 9 out and point it at him. I guarantee you he won't be doing all that Yaz stuff then.
There was in the news. Well, we've talked a lot about news on this show, but actually, news was caught on a porn. Porn was broadcast during a newscast in Cleveland, Ohio. The porn came up as the meteorologist was doing her report, and in the side screen, which is pixelated over in the corner, you see where the porn was happening during the broadcast. Of course, a lot of FCC complaints weren't in on that one, and the police are actually being involved. They're trying to find out, because obviously, if the porn came on during the broadcast, somebody up in that control room was accessing porn during the show. And I've seen disturbing instances, like as accessible as it is nowadays, as porn is, like you don't have to just go into your parents' under the bed collection of VCR tapes anymore. You can it just floats through the atmosphere. You can just reach out and grab the porn. I've seen guys on the bus. Yes. I've seen guys on the bus sometimes, like watching porn on the bus. I'm like, how can you even enjoy that? Watching porn is I would think that watching porn is sort of a kind of a me time activity. So it should be the time when it's just me, but I don't know. So somebody's going to get fired and possibly locked up.
Ain't nobody getting fired.
You don't think so?
Hell no.
I would think. I would hope. At the very least, I don't know about locking them up, but listen. This is not the job for you, especially if you're going to watch during a newscast. During our newscast. That moves us on to Dope Sick. We talked a lot about the opioid epidemic.
This should be a lesson to your ass.
Right. See. This should be a lesson to you.
Stiletto in the chest.
Right.
A cat o' nine tails to your rib cage. We've talked a lot about the opioid epidemic on here, and it's a shame because nobody's been taking the task now. We're such a visual society. I'm thinking that now there is a new film or a new miniseries all being offered on Hulu, and hopefully now this sends the who are their names? What are their names?
What?
The Purdue Pharma, the Sacklers, those scumbags. Hopefully this.
I was trying to figure out what was up with the Wizard. It was a Wizard.
Oh,
before.
I skipped the Wizard?
Yeah,
oh,
the Wizard.
No. I thought he was after that.
All right, well, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll go back.
Okay, so Dope Sick. It's this miniseries. It's a 5-episode miniseries being offered on Hulu, and it's going to go in depth about the Sacklers and their business of starting the opioid epidemic.
How did they?
What? No. How did they start it?
No, I'm just.
Well, they overproduced it, and they started. There was their policy to keep, and that was covered in the emails that was in a congressional hearing. Sackler pretty much said, "Yo, we're gonna flood the streets with these things, and these people are going to be addicted to it, and we're gonna get money."
And they got money,
and they did.
And from that, a new drug. The way we handle drugs changed as well. I see it as a plus.
Okay. Because of the way they prosecute drugs?
No,
okay.
The way it went from a war on drugs to understanding that drugs was a medical problem.
Okay.
And addiction became a medical problem.
Okay.
Before, because the drugs were created in different countries, black-skinned countries, right? Coca leaves, dark-skinned countries, brown countries, Colombia, it was seen as this is just bad. This is terrible. But when the drugs started going out there to West Virginia, and they was on the Rust Belt, and they was out there in, like Mississippi, and you got people popping Percocets and acting all crazy.
Right.
Then it became, this is a health problem.
This is right.
Right.
Poor.
And the way they handle drugs is differently now. It's very different
Yes.
than the way they handled it when it was in our lap.
How about
right?
that?
Running in every house, locking up everybody, mom, dad, uncle, cousin, brother, whoever, all y'all going to jail for this cocaine. Right. But now we have something that's produced by, and we can't make it that bad because then we have to be that bad on the people that produced it. So shit don't roll uphill. But when you're sitting here saying, you made these pills, oh no, we have to come for you.
Okay.
Right. So, you know, I appreciate the white man trying to they made millions of dollars off of this.
Yeah.
Billions. And there are people in the city that, you know, saw the profit and was like, nah, I'm going to be a part of the profit game. Right. You had people that were getting high. Crackheads, bro. Stop getting high to sell pills. Like literally.
And that's where they're doing.
Like literally, bro.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, wow, we really turned things around. Now when they come up with this next drug, you know, it's going to be a back to an attack on us.
Okay. Got to get back to business.
Yeah.
The Wizard.
I'm just sitting here watching porn.
Okay. With my 1-year daughter.
No,
he's joking, folks.
She's sleeping.
He's joking. Hopefully.
I ain't joking.
This wizard, the wizard is 88-year-old Ian Bradbury Chanel, and he was contracted with Christchurch City in New Zealand. They ended the contract. He was the only state-appointed wizard in the world.
Wow.
He was on, and now he's been cast from the public payroll.
I would like to be a wizard.
I know, right? He had he'd been in that job for 23 years. He had a $16,000 a year job. He got paid a total of $368,000 over the 28 years. Now it's funny because in 1976, they originally tried to stop him from being a public wizard, but the public protested.
Yeah.
They were like, whoa, what are you doing with the wizard?
What's wrong with you? Don't get rid of the wizard. What's wrong with you? You want us to believe that, you know, but I can't believe in a wizard?
So in 1982, the New Zealand Art Gallery Directors Association said that he had become a living working piece of art. And so in 1990, the Prime Minister at the time, Mike Moore, he asked that Chanel consider becoming the official wizard of New Zealand.
Yeah.
I'm concerned, said Moore at the time, I am concerned that your wizardry is not at the disposal of the entire nation. Moore wrote on his official letterhead. I suggest, therefore, you should urgently consider my suggestion that you become the Wizard of New Zealand, Antarctica, and relevant offshore areas. Since then, Chanel has performed his wizardry in Christchurch, rain danced in New Zealand and Australia during droughts, and was awarded the Queen's Service Medal in 2019 for her birthday. But he's also encountered controversy with off-color comments about women. In April, screening of Chanel's 3 comedy Current Affairs show New Zealand Today, hosted by Guy Williams, the wizard said he liked to tease women by telling them they were devious and said, quote, they use cunning to get men who are thick. I love women. I forgive them all the time. I've never struck one yet. I like how I qualified. Never strike a woman because they bruise too easily is the first thing, and they'll tell the neighbors and their friends, and then you're in big trouble. Man, he's lucky he didn't get canceled over that one. The council decided to end his contract, saying that but with the cancellation, this is honor. Everyone got furious. They have awakened a hornet's nest here. The next few months are going to be real fun. The wizard said he would keep up his regular appearances at Christchurch Art Center, chatting to tourist locals. The center is hosting an exhibition for his life this month, which is supported by the council. So there you go. Well, he's a retired wizard now, huh?
That's fucked up. Like, really, seriously, we need more things like that. Right?
You know what?
It's just belief and hope in something, right? You know, that you can't see.
And
I like wizards, bro. I'm thinking about becoming a wizard. I'm become Chester's first wizard.
That would be, let's do it.
Walk around with it. Oh, hell, the wizard.
Oh, my goodness. So you're sleeping there. So has anybody heard you're sleeping there, minding your own business? And a woman in Canada was sitting there sleeping, minding her own business.
How's that?
She got a visitor from space. That is a meteorite that crashed through her ceiling and landed near her bed.
It's in her bed, not near her.
Yeah, how about that? That's Ruth Hamilton. She was fast asleep in British Columbia, and she jumped up when she heard a noise. At first,
she wasn't in the bed.
Yeah, at first the 66-year-old thought that a tree had fallen on her house, but no trees were there. She called 911, and then she said, "Oh my gosh!" They found it's a 2.8 pound rock the size of a large man's fist, and it had barely missed her head, leaving drywall and debris all over my face. The close encounter took place on the night of October 3rd, left her rattled, but it captivated the internet and handed scientists an unusual chance to study a space rock that had crashed to Earth. Can you imagine?
I'm glad she wasn't in the bed.
How about it?
I'm trying to figure out why that thing didn't burn through the top mattress and go all the way, because it's moving through space.
Right.
And it never slows down to cool off until it lands. Usually those things are on fire.
Radioactive or something, right.
Right. Usually those things are on fire. Like, that should have burnt straight through the bed.
Now,
it should have came. It's coming with a lot of force.
Right.
To just land on the bed like that. That's bullshit. I'm not trying to hear that, bro. Like, it could come through the house, but that no. Like,
meteoroids hurl towards Earth every hour of the day, they say. When they're large enough, survive the trip through Earth's atmosphere and stick a landing, they become meteorites. People collect them. Others end up in museums. Some are sold on eBay. In February, Christie's held a record-shattering auction of rare meteorites, raking in more than $4 million.
This niggas just buy shit. Yeah. How you doing, Chuck? How you feeling, Bill? I'm great. I just bought this great meteorite from Christie's the other day. It fell in 1976. It killed 6 people, right? And a baby's arm is attached. You can see the baby's arm still attached to the meteorite. I paid $4 million for it.
Right. Well, it's just funny because I have a meteorite that I found. It landed right outside the CMPRadio.net studio.
Oh, shit.
I offer to sell this to you for $1 million. Right.
Like, people pay for the weirdest things. I told my man Kenny, right? I said, you got all this art, bro. All it's going to take is for one person to pay you $1 million.
And then the price
after
on
that,
everything
everything else goes
right.
up. Everything else you do. So, you get somebody that has, $1 million. You give them, say they bought it off you for $1 million, put it up on and then the price of everything you do after that goes up. Art is subjectable, right? Anything that doesn't have a true value, right, that you could call priceless, right, is subjectable to whatever.
Okay.
The first person to pay a crazy amount of money for it, everybody's
going to market. Yeah.
It's no rate there, right? You can literally. I said, man, if I hit $1 million, I hit the Powerball, I'm gonna buy it off you for $1 million. I'm gonna give you $1 million. And he like, what? I said, yeah, just say you sold it to me for $1 million. I'm gonna price it at $1 million.
There you go.
I'm hanging up on my motherfucking wall. Watch how many other $1 million fucking joints you sell.
How about that? That moves us on to our last story. Now, we always like to end on a happy note, and hopefully this is, what do you think, Pete? There's a pilot training academy, and the pilot training academy
is located at Del State University.
Yeah. And they're partnering with other HBUs to fill in the soaring demand for pilots.
Absolutely.
So here you are, again, a grainy picture.
A grainy picture, bro. You got to do better.
Yes, I do.
You got to do a much better.
Especially for achieving young men such as these right here.
I bet. Yeah. So Del State University is actually I don't think it's the only HBCU
right
that does, but it's the first, right? If I'm not mistaken, right? To train pilots and things like that. My godson wanted to go down there. He was younger. He was like, oh man, I want to fly planes. I was like, bro, you ain't gonna fly no planes. He was like, why you say that?
They won't let you.
Not that they wouldn't let him.
You don't have the. Right.
I said, because when you're younger, you have the hope of doing things. I said, to fly that plane, man, you got to stay focused. You might have to go into the Air Force for a little bit.
Right.
You feel me? To get the proper training. I said, yeah, HBCU can teach you how to fly a plane, but you need flight like time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you gotta give yourself to the Air Force. So he came home, he went to Del State, you feel me? He ain't like college. He's a firefighter now.
Okay.
Right? EMT, right? Doing great things. So, I said, it's still the same thing. You still got time. He's young,
Right.
20 years old.
Okay.
I said, shit, you can go back to school when you 40. Work a little bit, you feel me? Save up some money, enjoy life, you feel me? And then go back to school.
This program is also, well, they've already launched it at Elizabeth City State and Hampton. So, and other universities are expected to join the Aviate. Right, it's grown. The program has grown from 68 students, to 153 since for over the past 3 years. So that's a 30%, almost 30% growth. And the program students currently operate a training fleet of 12 aircraft. Students earn their bachelor's degree and private and commercial pilot's license. That's just pretty doggone cool. It might make me want to re-enroll. I've heard of did we talk about I think I asked you before, because they're training kids now, like 16, 17-year-olds, receiving trucker training at schools now. You see, like, in order to fill...
I'm trying to tell you, the PUA and the PPP shifted the types of people that are applying for jobs.
Right.
And when you got these young kids that were getting PUA money for not working, right? They working and then they stop working.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real need to work because I done made all this money. I done saved, and it was a lot of money, bro. We're talking about $10,000, $12,000, you feel me, dollars at one time. And a lot of people, they didn't know how to spend it, so they saved it. And I don't have to work. I started my own business, right? I provide services to people, right? I don't have to work anymore.
Right.
But, you know, for the training of the next generation coming up, I think that's important. You get people that have to get their driver's license, right, to get a CDL. That's a no-brainer.
On giving, right?
That's a no-brainer. You feel me? You can travel across the world. You can leave. You don't have to go to college. Like, you understand. I say it all the time, right? The arts program needs to come back to Chester High School. The band needs to come back to Chester High School.
Did we talk about that?
Yeah, and they have a band. They have a band. They have the marching Clippers, right? They're trying to bring it back, right?
Okay.
But, you know, you got to start early.
Right.
With certain instruments, right? So trombone, trumpet, you know what I mean, saxophone, all those instruments, you got to start early. You got to start in grade school.
Right.
You feel me? So by the time they get to high school, they already know what they're doing. They know how to read music.
Right. That's a big
that's a big situation. So, you know, I think we're moving forward very, very, very slowly, and as we should, right? To get everything up and running and make sure it's right for the children of the future, man.
Nice. I like that optimistic tone.
Yeah, I'm a community optimist.
Yes, sir.
Like, literally, that's what I am. I was a pessimist for so long.
Right.
Bro. Like, I didn't understand what that was doing to myself, to the people around me. Right now, I see it. So, you know, I'm an optimist. I see all positive energy coming from, you know, people that are trying.
Nice.
Right? Yeah. And then if you prove me wrong, I'll just kill you.
Positively.
Positively.
Oh, that brings us to the end of today's run of the D Train with Darren DeVoue on cmpradio.net. Don't forget, if you miss any of cmpradio.net's content, 10th of Life with Mr. Keith Muhammad. Is that his name? Keith?
No, Respect for Life.
Respect for Life, sure.
Right.
Sorry about that, Mr. Muhammad.
The morning meeting, Monday through Wednesday. 10th of Life with Keith Muhammad. Tuesday, 6 p.m. Wednesday, Kicking It with C's and the TRS podcast. Thursdays and Fridays, no shows.
Okay.
But Friday, we have the morning meeting again. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is the morning meeting. Saturday, if the football game or the basketball game is going off, right? And then Sunday,
the
D-Train, right?
And
then,
mental health talk.
Mental health talk.
And this is her time to shine. This is crazy. It's like the mental health month.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us, folks. It's great pleasure as always. Don't forget, please, if you got $1, go ahead and cash app it to cmpradio.net. Bryce, wait, how do I pronounce it again? Proceed?
Uncle P Motivator.
Uncle P Motivator. All right. Give the station $1. Why not? Help us out here.
Yeah, why not?
Keep the lights
All
on.
10,000 followers send us $1.
Yes, please.
Yeah, right.
Help us out. No. All right, but until next week, folks, have a peaceful, productive, and positive week on behalf of P and Jordan and the rest of the staff here at cmpradio.net. Please have a great week. We'll see you next week. You're on the D Train with Darren DeVoue on cmpradio.net, the voice of Chester. See, Pride? Did I do it right?
Yeah, you did it right.
Yes! We're talking about the heroic work of two men.
We're going after your train.
The train can be rolling all night long. The train can be rolling all night long. I'm a